CEO's grandmother was shocked to discover that the girl was wearing a family heirloom bracelet on her wrist. A few years ago, she had personally handed the bracelet to her grandson and told him it could only be given to his future wife. So the grandmother guessed that the girl might be her granddaughter-in-law, whom she had never met. It turned out that 4 years ago, the CEO was framed by a female employee. After drinking a beverage, he felt extremely hot all over. During his escape, he called his assistant and asked the assistant to save him. However, just as he finished speaking, the girl, who had also been framed by the supervisor, ran straight into his arms. In the end, the CEO, who had never been interested in women, ended up sleeping with the girl. When the assistant rushed in, he found the CEO and the girl naked, sleeping together. So, the assistant quickly left with the CEO. The girl soon woke up, and upon seeing the bracelet the CEO had left behind, she recalled the events that had just taken place, but neither of them had clearly seen each other's faces. Not long after, the girl discovered she was pregnant with twins. Although she didn't know who the father was, she decided to keep the babies and raise them on her own. Meanwhile, the CEO was searching everywhere for the girl he had slept with. All he remembered was that the girl had a plum blossom birthmark on her shoulder. So, every day, he would have 100 women come to his room, strip off their clothes, and check if they had the plum blossom birthmark on their shoulder. But after 4 years of searching, he still couldn't find her. Just as the CEO was getting frustrated with his assistant, he suddenly received a call from the housemaid. The housemaid told him that his grandmother was missing. The CEO immediately rushed home and ordered everyone to go out and search for her. Because his grandmother had been missing her unseen granddaughter-in-law every day, she had developed Alzheimer's. When she ran out alone to look for her granddaughter-in-law, she almost got hit by a speeding car. Fortunately, the girl passed by just in time and saved her. After scolding the driver, the girl put her coat over the grandmother. At this point, the grandmother noticed the bracelet on the girl's wrist, which was the family heirloom she had once given to her grandson. She had also told her grandson it could only be given to his future wife. So the grandmother firmly believed the girl was her unseen granddaughter-in-law. The girl questioned whether the grandmother had mistaken her, but the grandmother insisted the girl was her granddaughter-in-law. Helpless, the girl had no choice but to take the grandmother home and call the grandmother's family to come pick her up. The grandmother, seeing how small the house was and that there was no maid, asked if the family had gone bankrupt. The girl immediately nodded in agreement. Seeing this, the grandmother told her not to worry and handed the girl a bank card worth $10 billion, telling her to buy some meat for the two kids to nourish their bodies tomorrow. Just as the girl was about to refuse, the CEO suddenly arrived to take his grandmother home. The girl didn't recognize the CEO as the man she had slept with, but found him familiar. When the CEO heard the grandmother calling the girl her granddaughter-in-law, he didn't understand what had happened. The girl had no choice but to explain everything that had happened that day. After listening, the CEO seemed skeptical, and upon seeing the grandmother giving the girl $10 billion, he believed the girl was a fraud, but the grandmother firmly believed the girl was her granddaughter-in-law. When she learned they hadn't gotten their marriage certificate yet, she immediately forced her grandson and the girl to get married the next day. In order to get his grandmother to take her medicine, the CEO reluctantly agreed to marry the girl. Although it was only a contractual marriage, the girl felt very happy, because her two children would finally have a father. At this point, the grandmother brought gifts to give